heart to do something, this is old news, but still, if you press on your heart to do something, it don't matter what mankind tells you to do. It's what God tells you to do. You just have to follow what He says. Usually, He's 100% right. Follow your gut. Follow what impresses you to do things. Don't listen to mankind. It pays off in the end, even if you're victimized, ostracized for it, okay? All right, let me get into this. So, there's a narrative out there I'm hearing, echoed the ESPN narrative. Again, they have the coons or the sellouts who create this narrative. They're supposed to be the qualified professionals. And they disseminate this propaganda to people who don't know better, or people who know boxing, but they listening to the narrative and they're just going with it. Okay, you might know, but you're not trusting your eyes. You're trusting you're trusting what the experts are telling you. And this is how this world is kind of wired up. Okay, and they will bullshit you. I remember with COVID, they talking about how the COVID vaccine don't kill anybody. It's the safest thing ever. Only to find out, they know now that COVID vaccines cause coagulation of blood. Certain ones of them kill people. You can't just listen to the experts. You got to go do homework. You have to start knowing things for yourself. You have to find out things and be personally involved in things. Otherwise, you're going to go along with narratives that an establishment set for you that deceives you. You're going to be deceived. All right, so in the case of this narrative, I was listening to a young boxer on YSM Boxing, and he's echoing the sentiments of ESPN. He's talking about how, Ortiz didn't do enough to win that fight. And then he goes on to say, which is very false, that Ortiz was waiting to react to Teofimo Lopez. He wasn't leading. He wasn't the one being first. He wasn't the one initiating contact. And as my screenshot shows you guys here for this video, he definitely was doing that. He was the only one using his jab consistently throughout the fight. And a jab is not reactionary. A jab usually initiates things. Okay, so that's not true at all. That's very, very false. And all you had to do was watch the fight to see that it's false. But if you believe the ESPN Tessitore and Timothy Bradley commentary, if you believe the narrative, the propaganda that they put out there, of course you're going to say that. And so that's what shows me. It shows me when people are just parrots. They're just parroting a narrative. Okay? Maybe they made a prediction that Teofimo Lopez will win, so they want to stay with their prediction. There are very different reasons why people are motivated to say and to propagate and to continue propagating lies. Some people just don't want to be wrong. All right? But it's all about truth. All right? And stop making excuses for something when you know this is not true. It's just not true at all. And when you cloud the truth on something, you hurt the sport. You hurt the potential for other people to become consistently interested in the sport, because the sport is now relegated to being like a hodgepodge of things which, it's not really something you should legitimately take as serious. You know what I mean? So you have to know exactly what it is you're about in a sport like this. Okay? If you're not serious about really being an ambassador for boxing, because then the ambassadors for boxing are presenting, and they know they're presenting fallacious arguments. They know they're presenting false information, and yet they're the faces of boxing trying to lie to clean up a sport. That's the thing. You can't lie. You can't lie to clean up a sport. You're just putting mess upon mess. You have to be serious about it, and you have to tell the truth. Okay? Because then people can start trusting you, and they can start. I don't care how likable a character you are. If you're not telling the truth, and the thing with boxers and people is, if you're rooting for a certain guy, okay, You see, the problem is consistency. If people are more consistent in this sport, it's gonna benefit everybody, because when you say something, people could trust your statement. Okay, and even then, we shouldn't be, as people who understand the sport somewhat, we shouldn't be the center and the be all and end all. See how you guys are coming to me to hear what I have to say? That's cool, but you should have a rooted, grounded in the principles of boxing understanding, so that if I'm saying something that makes sense to you, then you should be able to say that, and you should be able to give good reasons why it makes sense to you. This fight was a very simple fight to understand. It was about range. And Teofimo Lopez couldn't close the range on Jermaine Ortiz. That's why he lost the fight. This is not something complicated. With Sandor Martin, he was also having difficulty, but he actually overcame the difficulty later on in the fight, because he was able to see patterns Sandor Martin was, and he was able to close the distance. In this fight, he was not able to close the distance at all. And that's why the fight wasn't competitive. And that's why he looked terrible. He was missing a lot of shots. With Kambosos was able to find his rhythm and then go to the body of, forgot what the guy's name is, the former IBO champion. That's why I said that Kambosos actually won the fight. So I'm actually telling you why certain fighters won fights. Okay? I'm actually explaining it to you. Now, you don't have to agree with me. But what you need to do is you need to go watch the fight in a proper way and then reflect on what I just said. Don't just take it and parrot it like other people are doing, but try to rephrase it in your own understanding, in your own ways, in your own terms, and that's how you actually make progress. All right? Anyways, on What You Need, I got to get out of here. All right? Have a blessed one. Yes, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Morning.
I look at 2 minutes past 8.